Well, this new survey that's out is it's kind of interesting because it shows more than 8 in 10 healthcare organizations have been hacked within the past 2 years. So obviously 80% sounds high. The cyber expert Greg Bell joins us now to talk about this survey. It sounds high. It also sounds somewhat alarming. But at the same time, when you start thinking about the news flow on this, maybe not so surprising. What do you take away from the survey you've done?
It's not alarming. With healthcare being such a large part of the U.S. economy, clearly the health information records that our payers and providers process for us are very valuable to many different organizations around the globe. It's not surprising at all.
Not surprising, and also not alarming because every one of us is a consumer of healthcare one way, shape, or form. Those records are ours, people watching, and to say that they not only have been targets, but, you know, the hackers have some degree of success, that is somewhat alarming, no?
It is, and just to share a couple of other statistics, over 13% of the companies we surveyed identify new attacks every single day.
Right.
But perhaps even scarier an event is only 16% have the capability to even say they can detect an attack.
You get a sense
I think it's an area where a lot of improvement.
That there's anything, speaking of improvement, that can actually be done. We've talked about it a number of times with the banks and all these big companies, you know, big companies like the one we work at, the banks, I'm sure the healthcare industry as well. Everybody is trying to put safeguards in place. Are they just behind the curve on this, or some better than others? What does the industry look like? Do you know?
It is, yeah. The provider community is really a little bit behind. They're dealing with such a diverse set of technology environments that exist here on the diagnostic side, on the healthcare providing side. The ability to really understand how we collect that information, secure that information consistently over these diverse environments, oftentimes thousands of applications inside a single provider, is hard and difficult. Payers, which run a traditional back office type of technology, are a little bit easier. It is a focus at the executive level. Almost 90% of these organizations are talking to their boards about this topic, are spending more in it, but there is a long way to go to match up the rest of the industry.
A lot to be done on the corporate side of it, but on the consumer side, which is where I'm sure most people watching are, and maybe some work in healthcare too, but most people watching are saying, are my records safe? Is there anything that we as consumers can do differently in terms of what we share, what we don't share, what we look at, what we don't look at? What can we do to help ourselves?
Absolutely. I would say just making sure that you're being respectful, choosing your providers and your payers, making sure that you stay on top of what they're doing. If you're nervous, ask the questions. Your providers can provide you that information under HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. They can provide you that information. And then also be cognizant of what your responsibilities are. Check your credit report regularly. Check your other activities to make sure, look for any fraudulent activities. Check your bills to make sure they're accurate and correctly reflect your treatment and your care.
All right, Greg Bell, KPMG did it. 81% of healthcare executives say they've been had this information compromised. Thank you very much for explaining all that.